Early morning at Crestwood Airport, the gentle sunlight shines through the glass dome, covering every step of the passersby in gold. Officer Alicia Torres leads Bruno, a seasoned professional Labrador, into the baggage area. The atmosphere is peaceful. The inspection process is as usual. Bruno is calm, his tail wagging gently when receiving friendly glances from passengers. Alicia watched carefully, her eyes never leaving the crowd. She had absolute faith in Bruno, the dog who had detected many sophisticated smuggling cases. This morning, the mission was just routine patrol, but no one knew that in the hidden corner between the platform and the silence, something was waiting to be revealed, something no one could have expected. Bruno shivered slightly, his ears pricked up. A strange scent had just appeared. Bruno stopped abruptly in front of a dark blue suitcase sitting at the foot of a pillar near the international exit. His eyes sharpened, his ears pricked up, his body stiffened as if locked into his intuition. Alicia immediately recognized the warning signal. Before she could react, Bruno roared, lunged at the suitcase and barked anxiously. Everyone around was stunned. Some people screamed and backed away in fear. Security was immediately called and the area was sealed off. Alicia held the leash tightly, gently stroking Bruno's back to calm him down, but the dog continued to bark urgently, claws scratching the surface of the suitcase, as if trying to convey something urgent. Unlike his reaction when he discovered illegal substances or explosives this time, Bruno seemed panicked. He whimpered repeatedly, his nose pressed tightly against the zipper, his body trembling slightly. Alicia looked at the suitcase, then at Bruno, her heart pounding. This was no ordinary dangerous object. This was something alive and crying out for help. When the rapid response team arrived, the atmosphere was tense. An officer in hazmat gear approached the suitcase, carefully unzipping it. Everyone held their breath. Bruno stopped barking, only panting and tapping his tail against the floor as if in anticipation. The sound of a zipper. The suitcase lid opened, and the whole airport fell silent. Inside was not explosives or contraband, but a small living being. A puppy shivering, drenched in sweat and urine, huddled among a pile of old clothes. Ribs visible under thin-skinned eyes glazed over, as if on the brink of death. An officer gently lifted it out of the suitcase. The puppy whimpered softly, wriggling weakly. Bruno approached, bowed his head, and gently licked the little creature's forehead, as if to comfort it. Everyone around fell silent. Some wiped away tears. Alicia clenched her hands, her throat constricted. Bruno didn't detect danger, but pain, and he saved a life. No one expected a suitcase to lead to a large-scale investigation. Immediately after the puppy was taken to the emergency veterinary facility, Alicia quickly directed the team to check the security cameras throughout the airport. The image repeated frame by frame, a tall man in his 40s, wearing a baseball cap, dragging a suspicious suitcase. He said nothing to the check-in staff, just bowed his head, put the suitcase down, and left in silence. The camera footage was compared with airport traffic records. Eventually, investigators found a clue. A taxi operated by a local company had driven the man away from the airport about an hour before the suitcase was discovered. Following the taxi company's tip, the suspect was quickly identified. Raymond Wolf, a man with a criminal record for animal cruelty. Alicia tightened her grip on the strap of her radio, her eyes on Bruno. "We're not stopping here," she said, her voice firm. "If there's a dog in the suitcase, there could be more victims." Bruno nodded as if understanding the command. The dog stood up again, ready to embark on a journey not only to seek justice, but to rescue the innocent lives still waiting to be brought to light. Night had fallen when the task force approached the old apartment complex on the edge of town, where Raymond Wolf was believed to be hiding. The walls were stained, the hallway lights flickered, and the smell of mold made the air oppressive. Alicia signaled the team to stop in front of apartment number 17. Bruno, his nose for justice, began to growl softly. His tail raised, his body tense. A knock on the door. No answer. Bruno barked loudly, rushing to the door as if to break it down. "Come in!" Alicia shouted. The door was kicked open. Immediately, the team was hit by a terrible stench, a mixture of rotting food urine and something worse. Before them was a heartbreaking sight. Rusty cages stacked on top of each other, containing dozens of animals, dogs, cats, even rare birds with dull eyes and bodies trembling in despair. Many were emaciated, some lay motionless. It was unclear whether they were alive or dead. Raymond was trying to escape out the back door when he was caught. He struggled and screamed, but the fear in his eyes could not hide the horror of what he had done. Alicia approached, her eyes cold. "You are finished," she said. Bruno approached the lowest cage where a puppy was shivering, its eyes no longer filled with hope. It leaned toward Bruno, whimpering softly as if in a last cry for help. Bruno bowed his head and gently licked the puppy's forehead. A gentle gesture amidst the darkness, a promise that today's wounds would be healed with love and justice. News of the airport rescue and the hellish apartment spread quickly. Within hours, major newspapers carried pictures of Bruno, the K9 standing next to Alicia, his eyes sharp but kind. Headlines ran across the front pages. K9 saves dozens of lives from cruel animal traffickers. Television channels covered the news. The scene of Bruno discovering the suitcase and leading the charge to break down the apartment door was shared as a symbol of courage. Alicia sat in her office, her phone ringing non-stop. Animal welfare organizations, schools, even government agencies wanted to honor her team. But it was Bruno who stole the show. Photos of him bowing to the frail puppy melted millions of hearts. Thank you notes, flowers and handwritten letters filled the K9 team's office. Alicia looked at Bruno, who was resting with his head on his paws and his eyes half closed. She stroked his back gently. "You're not just a K9, you're a hero." Bruno wagged his tail. The truth is brought to light not by the sound of a police siren or accusation, but by the intuitive bark and sympathetic heart of a dog. Once again, the world is reminded that compassion knows no species, it just needs to be heard. A week after the rescue, the city held a special ceremony in the central square to honor Bruno. Flags were flying, a small stage was set up, and hundreds of people showed up early, bearing banners and flowers. From the stands, the mayor choked up as he said, "Not every human could have done what Bruno did." He reminded us of courage, loyalty, and empathy that transcends species. Bruno stepped onto the stage with Alicia, a navy blue sash draped gently around his neck. The square erupted in applause. Children called Bruno's name, adults shed tears. A boy presented Bruno with a silver bone-shaped medal engraved with the words, "For the voice of the voiceless." Alicia leaned down beside him and whispered, "You don't need a title to be a hero, but today the whole world knows it." Bruno didn't bark, just stood up straight and wagged his tail gently as a greeting in return for the love everyone gave him. Bruno's story is not only a rescue, but also a powerful reminder that kindness and sensitivity can change the world. In a society filled with noise and indifference, sometimes a dog's silence can ring a bell. The lesson is clear. Never underestimate intuition, compassion, and the power to stand up for what's right. No matter who you are, you have the ability to stand up for good. And sometimes a single act of courage can change a community.